Hello, my name is Ray Salazar, and this is Morning Reel, a 3 to 4 to 100 minute or so podcast of films that I review of all nationalities, of all races, everything from the good to the bad, from the small budget to the multi-billionaire budget. If there's has there been a $1 billion budget yet? Man, I honestly can't wait to see that because it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. There's gotta be a film where all the studios combine themselves and become one big ass Hollywood Megatron of a company. That's kind of scary, man. Especially how Hollywood is actually run, and y'all know what the heck I'm talking about. Either way, I'm here to talk about Moonlight. It's a film coming of age, which is my favorite type of genre of film or subgenre of film, the coming of age drama where the main character, which is usually a child or a teen, preteen, whatnot, grows up in the film. Not literally, but he becomes, it's not that he becomes a different person, but an event, a big event, just not changes, but just redirects who this character is into what the character could become. Moonlight is a 2016 American drama that was written and directed by Barry Jenkins, who also did If Beale Street Can Talk, which is a film that I reviewed previously to this one. If you haven't seen it, or rather, if you've seen it and not heard my review about it, check it out. It's a really good review. It's a really good film. This film is actually a semi-autobiographical play called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. And that was actually written by Terrell Alvin McCraney. What a name. Here we go. The cast and crew. Screenplay directed by Barry Jenkins. Story by Terrell Alvin McCraney. Produced by Adele Romanowski, Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner. Starring Trevante Rhodes, Andre Holland, Janelle Monáe, Ashton Sanders, Jarrell Jerome, Naomi Harris, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, even though I know who this person is, Mahershala Ali. Cinematography by James Laxton. Edited by Nat Sanders and Joy McMillian. Music by Nicholas Britell. Production companies. Well, you know what? Fuck the production companies. I'm going to go straight to the distribution, which is A24. Remember them? They're still around. This is before well, it's not before, but A24 was not a big independent film company, man. And Moonlight is one of those films that really put them on the map because it had a very, very small budget, which went up to $4 million, which is crazy because when you look at this film, it doesn't look like $4 million were spent. But I can see how it was spent, People forget. Not all the money is put into the actual production. There's marketing behind it. There's all kinds of PR. I mean, this is an LGBTQ film. I mean, it's a gay film. It's definitely a gay film. It's not about gayness or whatnot, but it's there. It's a part of identity, And in this film, takes on identity, takes on neglect, takes on parental abuse, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, what have you. This film has it. Now, I can go beyond and beyond about this film. I love this film. In fact, I love it this much that I hadn't seen this film since it came out, and I never seen it since. It's just those films that you got to put just your 100% undivided attention. Fun fact about this film before I go into the details. This film won Best Picture over La La Land. And there's some controversy to that if you've seen the Oscars of that year, where they made the mistake of saying that La La Land won Best Picture when in fact it was actually Moonlight. And I mean, if you've seen it, it's such a weird, awkward moment in American cinema, or rather in American entertainment awards and all that crap. It's not crap, but you know what I mean. Well, yeah, this film won. This film, which had a a tiny budget compared to La La Land. If you've seen La La Land, which I have not reviewed yet, but hey, shout out, hey, my respect to La La Land and to Damien Chazelle. It's a great film. It's almost the perfect, well, to me, I'm not going to go about La La Land. That's another film review. I'm not even going to say it. Moonlight. Moonlight won Best Picture. You know why it won Best Picture? Because it was about life, about real life, you know, the real shit. That just doesn't happen to only like black boys and girls. It happens to all colors, man. It happens to Americans, Asians, Salvadorian, Mexican, what have you, Muslim. It's not that it's centered on one person. That person represents all kinds of people, and obviously it does represent a group. You know, it presents the gay community, or rather the LGBTQ community, man. Like this guy, the main character, whose name is Chiron, who's nicknamed Black and Little. Just, he never had a chance in life, man. Like his mom is and was a drug addict, you know, she did crack. And he knew that since he was a kid. And it just didn't seem like she gave a fuck, you know? And it's not because she didn't give a fuck for real. It's the addiction, you know? Any kind of like real drug addiction. I'm not talking about weed here. I wouldn't even put weed in there, even though it's a Schedule 1 as of this date, you know, federally speaking. Ain't no drug. Same as mushrooms. Either way, I'm talking like hard drugs. It's a disease, man. Like, they're just not. There's so much you can do to help somebody, but at the end of the day, that person has to get the help. That person has to decide to get that treatment, to change their lives around, because it affects the people around them. It affected Chiron, obviously, as he grew up. His mother neglected him. His mother asked him for money. Crazy. And like the only affection Chiron would get is through a drug dealer and his girlfriend, which is crazy. And it's the same drug dealer that deals drugs to Chiron's mom. Not on a personal level, but you know, like every, you know, up and coming drug dealer of sorts or whatnot, he has a network. He has other people doing things for him. And, you know, fucking shit spreads around. This kid gets tormented at school. The kids know that this guy's gay, you know? I don't know how they know, but they just know. And Chiron, even as a little kid, questioned his own identity, you know? And in a weird way, he kind of knew. He just, I guess, never had the experience to actually know for sure. And in the film, he does experience it. And one of his best buddies, honestly, his only friend, like to his, like, you know, age group, because, you know, Juan, who's the drug dealer, who's like played by Maharashi Ali or Mahershala. I'm sorry, Ali, who won Best Actor in this film, by the way. Man, if you had a drug dealer that cool, like actually that cool, it would be that guy. And you can see how that affects Chiron as he grows up and who he becomes, you know, towards the end of the film in some weird way. Yeah, man, that's the only nurturing he would get. Not that Juan would give him drugs or whatever, but Juan would actually spend time with him. You know, like he would take him go out to eat. He would take him to the beach. He talked to him about life. He talked to him not about he didn't talk to him about being a man. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's masculinity involved. Obviously, you know, this film really touches on the male, on masculinity. You know, the positive and the toxic, and there's a lot of toxic in it. And Juan is the only person, as far as like a quote unquote father figure that he would be. He gave it to Chiron, and he taught him about how to be somebody, or just like, you gotta know who you are. There's gonna be a point in your life that you kind of gotta figure out who you gonna be, you know, or what you want, but more importantly, who you want to be. Because also this film touches on, like, it's not a flashy film, really. Like, the cinematography is great. Like, it's that Barry Jenkins signature shots of the close up where the character is looking straight at the camera, obviously breaking the fourth wall. That plays very well in this film. To be honest, more than if Beale Street can talk. It works so well because some of those scenes work right after a dream or right after a nightmare. It's the thing where, like, when somebody looks at you and they lock their eyes on you and you're locked on them, it's very, it's just more physical than anything, really. It's like, when somebody's really on you or like really into you in some, telepathic way. Not that that was the whole purpose of the shot, but it's just that strong of the effect that that shot gives. Like I said, you got to watch it, you got to see it. Cinematography is great. Not my favorite scene in the film, not because of the what happens in the film, but as far as how it's lit. There's a scene in the film where Kevin and Chiron, they go to the beach and they sit in the sand and they're looking at the shore, the waves coming in, and the lights that you see, like the artificial lighting that you see, is obviously like street lighting, and you can tell that the street lighting temperature is where it should be at the tungsten, you know, at the tungsten level. And you got moonlight. If you were to compare the temperature of moonlight to tungsten, the scale is off, obviously. Moonlight's more bluish, tungsten's more, yellowish or whatnot. But it's not, I like that whoever like lit the scene or whatnot, kudos to them. But they're lit so soft and like it's not overlit as well. And it's crazy because you can tell that this film is brightly lit just due to the complexion of the cast in this film. Great cast, by the way. Great fucking cast, man. This cast is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Very dangerous cast. Like, if you put that same cast in another film with another plot, it would go to the Oscars once more. Obviously, when you're lighting somebody with a darker complexion, i.e., the cast in this film, it's not that you gotta go over the exposure, but you gotta do bump up the lighting just a little tad, and it works. And it does give it this effect where the actors in the film, the characters, they glow. There's this glow about them, which is obviously it's very intriguing to look at, and it's natural. It's great. This film's great because there's really not that much of like crazy artificial lighting. It's simple. Plot is simple. Chiron, and it's strong due to its writing as well. Even though it's a simple plot, dude, this is a simple plot compared to La La Land. I mean, La La Land it's not that it's a simple plot. I mean, there's a little bit more to La La Land, but it's like more filler action. It's more grandiose. Obviously, you know, it's supposed to tribute the musical genre. But this film, Moonlight, however, man, dude, like it's really about figuring out who you are. And man, I feel for Chiron, dude, because he spent most of his life thinking he knows who he is, but deep down inside, he knows that who he is on the outside is not who he is on the inside, and who he is on the inside, it's still that timid, shy, broken boy who just never had a chance in life. And there was only a couple of people in his life who really gave a shit about him, and Kevin, and the teen Kevin, man, like it's a great scene what happened between Kevin and Chiron in the school where I can't spoil this film. I can't spoil it. I can't because I want you guys to see this film because it's worth it. It's worth the watch, man. Favorite shot of the film. Obviously, my favorite shot of the film would have to be when Juan takes Little to the ocean, and I just love the fact that you see these folks in the water conversating, and there's little dialogue too, and that's what's great about this film too. That it Barry Jenkins knows how to write. He knows when to choose certain lines of dialogue to be said by these characters, And there's scenes where there's no dialogue at all. It's just human emotion, human action without having to talk. It's there and it's great. I love how he plays with sound as well. There's a lot of music that fades in and out, and it's not the same music. It changes like the tone, and And it's dark overall in the film as far as the musical tone is concerned. It puts you kind of up into your feet, man. Like it gets you kind of ready for what's gonna come next, you know. And it's stuff like that that makes the film. The sound going in and out, muting certain words of dialogue. Like there's this one shot in particular where Paula, who was Chiron's mom, he comes in, right? He's home and she walks out of her room, right, into the hallway, and you can't hear what she's saying because it's muted, right? And she's yelling at Chiron. And I actually had to like rewind this particular shot just like maybe 3 times just to pick out what she said. And I mean, I have a feeling to know what she said because later on in the film, that very shot repeats itself, unmuted. It's just important to know that, you know, it's important to have a support system. It's important to have friends or just people around you who, just because you're gay or straight or whatever, they still love you, man. They still think of you not only as a friend, but just as a person, period, man. Because some of the fucking characters in this film did not see Chiron as an equal person. They saw him as subhuman almost. And it's fucked up. And if I have to give this film any tokes, obviously it would be 4 out of 4. It's a great film overall. It won Best Picture, and deservingly so. It really deserves it. Not because, oh my God, they're fitting the agenda. Nah, dog. Like, agenda or not, it's a great fucking film. It's written very well, whether it's to push the agenda or not. Like, it's telling a story, whether it's coming out of from a real story or not. It's good. That being said, whatever, you know. 4 out of 4 tokes. Please watch this film if you haven't seen it. It's on HBO Max, and obviously, you know, it's on home video. You can see it online anywhere practically. But it's an important film to look at. It really deals with identity issues, and shoot, man, nowadays a lot of these kids and teens, man, they don't know what they don't. A lot of them don't know who they are yet, man. They still haven't like experienced life, you know. Unless you experience the life that Chiron experienced, then by all means, you can say who you are, man. Stick by that, you know, and we're cool. You know, a lot of kids nowadays, man, especially some of these parents, like try to fit a certain thing onto these children, and they don't even know, man. And more than frankly, they don't even want it. Rate and review this podcast, please. I like reading, you know, what you guys got to say about what I review or how I review it, even if it's bad. Please tell me it's bad. I like the criticism because whether it's good or bad, it's gonna make me a better gonna make me a better public speaker, private speaker, makes me a better critic because I like talking about films. Follow me on Morning Shot Films, IG, YouTube. Check out my website, morningshotfilms.co, where honestly, if you want to check out the podcast, you can check it out there. The High and Hungry season has officially come out. It came out on June 10th. You can only watch that at BeReal.tv. Or if you got YouTube, just type in High and Hungry and you're going to see it. The episode that we recently put out is called Moderno Cocina at Las Perlas in West Hollywood. If you love authentic Mexican cuisine, Mexican street food, like authentic, like, you know, not the shit that you see like on the corner or whatever. I mean, shout out to them. They hustle it, right? And that's authentic too. But to see it to come out of a restaurant, I mean, to call street food in a restaurant is not street food, but Moderno Cocina pulls it out very good. You will not be disappointed. They got all kinds of tacos, whether you're only a chicken dude, only a red meat dude, or if you're a pescatarian or whatever. They got fish options, you know, and they got it good. But yeah, man, check it out. It's a show that I have with me and my partner Ezone. We put it on B-Roll TV. We've been going for a couple of seasons. If you're a foodie, especially in the LA area or just like SoCal, I mean, we've done Denver, we've done Vegas, and we're going to do more states as time goes on. But yeah, if you want to, see us get high off weed, and, we'd rather see Ezone get high off weed and talk about food, this is a show to watch, man. Thank you.